Good day, dear friends. Welcome to another episode of the Culinary Masterclass supported by La Fondation pour la Formation Hôtelière. We will dedicate today's show to fish. How to choose fresh fish, what to pay attention to, how to clean it, how to separate the fillets from the bones. I will show you all the details you need to know if you want to prepare and eat fish. Today I decided to present you these two sea bass. Of course, sea bass is a sea fish. It belongs to the group of white sea fish and is of very high quality, and I can say that it is a common fish in the restaurants offer. What should we pay attention to when buying fish? Of course, the fish should be as fresh as possible to be of better quality. How do you know that the fish is fresh? There are a few signs to look out for that will tell you if the fish is fresh or a few days old. In fresh fish, the eyes are clear and shiny, they must not be cloudy. If the eyes have become cloudy, this is a sign that the fish has been out of the water for several days. When we have made sure that the eyes are clear, then we look at the gills. The gills should be a dark red shiny color, without mucus and unpleasant smell. Then let's pay attention to the meat of the fish. The meat should be firm and elastic. When the meat is pressed with the tip of the fingers, it should return to its original position. If we press the fish and the meat does not return to its original position, but a slight indentation remains in the meat, this is also a sign that the fish is a little older, a longer period out of water and adequate maintenance. And the fourth characteristic of fresh fish is its smell. We smell the fish and the smell should be a nice, pleasant smell of fish and not some lingering unpleasant, rotten smell. Since we have made sure that this sea bass is fresh, we will now clean it of scales and entrails. When we clean fish, it is preferable to do it in a part of the kitchen that is easy to clean, for example a deep sink or a large surface, because when we clean the fish scales fly everywhere, so it is good to clean the fish in a deep sink or a part of the kitchen lined with ceramic tiles for easier cleaning of the surface from fish scales. And now we approach the cleaning of the fish. We can clean the fish with a knife, and from the tail to the head we scrape the skin of the fish with the knife, this separating the scales of the fish. Since some cuts can happen this way if the knife accidentally slips, then you can use a spoon or fork and scrape from the tail towards the head and remove the scale, so there is no fear of cutting yourself. Look. Press well and scrape from all sides of the fish and separate it until all the scales are removed. Look how the fish scales fly in all directions. That's why we clean in the sink. When we have cleaned the scales well, we soak the fish under a little water, and now with a knife we cut the belly of the fish from the tail towards the head. When we have cut the belly of the fish, remove the entrails and gills. This is a little dirtier work, but it is necessary to clean the fish completely. If you cannot do this, ask your fishmonger to do it for you. We remove the entrails and gills. Most people forget to remove the gills from the head of the fish, but this is also necessary to clean the fish completely. When we have taken out the entrails, then we cut this part of the white membrane, you see, this part next to the spine of the fish, and now we clean all the remaining blood well below that. We do this because if we roast the fish in a whole piece, that part of the blood will give an ugly dark color and can give some bitterness to the meat of the fish, so it is necessary to wash and clean all the blood well. If you clean several pieces of fish, a dozen or more, then use some gloves or a cloth when removing the gills, because the gills are rough and when you remove a large amount, you can scratch your fingertips a lot. And now our fish is clean and ready for further use. Look, we cleaned and dried the fish from the water so it wouldn't slip. We have removed everything unnecessary from it, and now we will separate the fillets from the fish. that is, separate the meat from the bones. It would be preferable to have a knife for filleting fish. It is a knife with a long, thin and flexible blade. This blade is flexible enough to bend and follow along the spine. Of course, the knife should be very sharp. And now we cut with the knife slightly along the gill, to separate the meat from the head, and now with the knife we gently slide and cut along the dorsal fin of the fish, little by little separating the meat from the bones. When you have cut a little, now you can slowly pull the meat and separate the meat from the bones little by little, slowly. See how easy it goes. We only cut lightly with the tip of the knife so that the knife slides along the bone and separates the meat from the bones. We separated our fish fillet nicely, and now let's separate it from the other side. We can separate in the same way, but I can show you another way. You cut the meat next to the gills, turn the knife at an angle of 15 to 20 degrees and cut gently so that the blade of the knife slides directly against the spine of the fish. And when you've made a small cut, press the upper part of the meat against the head with your hand, and then with the blade of the knife at an angle of 15 to 20 degrees, gently pull it towards the tail of the fish and thus separate the fish fillet quickly and easily. When we have separated both fish fillets, we are left with this skeleton with the head. We do not throw this away, but use the fish skeleton to prepare fish stock or fish soup. We can later use the stock for topping some dishes, fish risotto, or to prepare a sauce to serve with the fish. So we will use all this aroma and smell of fish from this skeleton. However, we still need to process our fillet, to separate it from the small bones that remained on the fillet meat. Cut this part next to the belly of the fish lightly with a knife and separate the remaining bones. And now, with the tips of our fingers, we can lightly go over the fillet and we can feel where each bone is located. Each of these bones should be removed, pulled out with a finger or with tweezers for removing bones. These bones are usually located in the middle of the fillet. They are the bones that went along the backbone, and now we will remove one bone at a time that we have left. This process is a little slower and more boring, but it should be done because it is unacceptable for the guest to feel the bone in the fish fillet. On the other hand, here we are trying to teach you all the details of a professional kitchen. Maybe it requires more time and more attention, but it is something that chefs encounter and do every day. I have to emphasize that this is what differentiates a high-end kitchen from an average kitchen: how much time you will devote to processing some food to bring it to perfection. To repeat once again, before filleting, dry the fish well so that it does not slip. Use a sharp and high-quality knife for processing. You have the option to cut the fillet along the fish or from the head to the tail. You choose the way that is easier for you. In this way, you can clean most sea and freshwater fish. The fillets have been processed, and now I will show you a simple and quick recipe for preparing sea bass fillets. Dear friends, now we are going to prepare a very tasty dish that is quite simple to prepare: sea bass fillets in fish velouté sauce. A little while ago I showed you how to clean the sea bass, how to separate the fillets and prepare them for further use. Here we have the fish skeleton that we will now use to cook the fish stock that we need to prepare the fish velouté sauce. We heated this deep pan, added water, and immediately put the sea bass skeleton in the water to cook. When cooking, the skeleton will release all the aroma from the bones, skin and meat into the stock. When the water has boiled, then with a slotted spoon, that is, this spoon with holes, we remove this foam that has appeared on the top of the stock. If you don't have a slotted spoon, then you can use any larger spoon and remove the foam that appears on the surface of the stock. When we have removed the foam, we add vegetables and spices. You can use any vegetables, such as carrots, celery, parsley, peppers, bay leaves, basil, onions, garlic, pepper, rosemary. Basically what you have in your home. And when we have added the vegetables, we reduce the temperature so that the stock does not boil so strongly, because this way the stock will be cloudy. We want our stock to be clear, so we cook it at a low temperature, so that our stock only simmers slightly. We cook the stock slowly for half an hour. It is fish, so there is no need for any long cooking. Half an hour is enough for the fish and vegetables to release their aromas and smells into the stock, which we will then strain and use to prepare the velouté sauce. Veloute sauce belongs to the group of warm, light sauces, which is widely used in gastronomy. It can be prepared from beef stock, from chicken stock, from vegetable stock, and of course from the fish stock that we will use now. 30 minutes have passed, the stock is cooked, you can smell the fish and vegetables, all those aromas of spices. We got what we need now to prepare the velouté. Now we're going to strain this. You can see how our fond remained clear, just like the fond it should be, aromatic and clear. And you will achieve clarity very easily by cooking the stock at a lower temperature, so just reduce the temperature and cook the stock slowly so that it remains clear. You can eat these vegetables or use them later as a side dish. Our fond is ready to use. You can see how clear it is, and I can tell you that the smell is very nice and pleasant. You can feel the aroma of fish and vegetables. Now we will start preparing the velouté sauce. This sauce is prepared in almost the same way as the bechamel sauce, with the only difference that when preparing the velouté sauce, instead of milk, stock is added. That's the only difference, everything else is the same. Put the butter in a deep, cold pan to melt slowly. We always put the butter in a cold pan so that the butter doesn't burn, which can easily happen if we put it in a hot pan. Now add the flour to the melted butter and stir until it is fried a little and gets a light color. After half a minute, add the fish stock little by little, stirring constantly. Be careful not to burn yourself accidentally from the fumes. Add the hot fish stock little by little, stirring constantly. The fish stock is hot because in this way we prevent the formation of large lumps that must not be in the sauce. We set the temperature to a medium value, so that it is not too hot. We are constantly stirring and adding stock little by little. Constant stirring is necessary when preparing a sauce with flour, because if we don't stir for a few minutes, the sauce can easily burn. Also, what I've already mentioned several times, when you mix something, whether it's a broth, stew or sauce, always mix by scraping from the bottom of the pan, which means that with mixing we need to remove that thin layer that sticks to the bottom of the pan and thus prevent something from burning in the pan or pan. Now we will spice up our velouté sauce a little. We will add a little salt and a little pepper. Unfortunately, I couldn't find white pepper anywhere that would work much better in this sauce because of its white color and wouldn't be noticeable in the sauce. Stir slowly and cook for another 15 to 20 minutes, occasionally adding fish stock. The thickness of the sauce should be such that a thin layer remains on the spoon. In this way the sauce will gently slide over the dish when it is served. We can prepare this sauce several days in advance. Just keep it in the refrigerator until use, and when we need it, heat it up and use it in the recipe. The sauce prepared in this way can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 7 days. The velouté sauce is ready. We will now remove it from the heating element and leave it aside for a few minutes while we fry the sea bass fillets. Sea bass fillets are very thin and will only take 2 minutes to heat, 1 minute of frying on each side. Cut the skin of the fillet a little, in 2 or 3 places, and then season the fillets. I will use salt and pepper, and you can use any other spice of your choice. Season the fish on both sides. The pan has heated up. Add oil to the pan and immediately put the sea bass fillets to fry. We always put the fish on the skin side first to fry, and we always lower the fillets slowly away from us, so that the oil does not splash and burn us. This is a medium-high temperature, and we will fry the fish for 1 minute on both sides. We want our fish to be juicy, to retain its juices, so we must not fry it too much. I will now serve the velouté sauce with the fish, but if you don't have time or don't want to prepare the velouté sauce, then you can fry the fish in olive oil, and when you turn it, add a little butter and a little lemon juice, so you will get another tasty and high quality sauce that you can serve with the fish. One minute has passed, and now we turn the fish over. You can see how nicely it is fried. The meat of the fish is extremely soft, so you must not turn it many times, only once, otherwise there is a possibility that the meat of the fish will fall apart, so it will be more difficult to serve. The fish is ready. Now we will take it out, but we have to be careful that the fillet does not break, that the meat does not fall apart, since the fish is very fragile now, loose, so be a little more careful. As you can see, the preparation time is very short, only 2 minutes. I have prepared a side dish in advance that I will serve with these fillets. It is polenta with Swiss chard. I cooked polenta, added some cooked chopped Swiss chard, added some salt, pepper, some butter and some olive oil. I poured the polenta prepared in this way into these silicone molds and left it to cool and harden. The side dish prepared in this way can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. Of course, we wrap it in transparent foil so that it does not dry out. Now I need a side dish, and I warmed it up in the microwave for 3 to 4 minutes, and now I'm just going to serve it. Look how nice this looks. You can use any mold you want. I'll put 2 polentas, and next to them I'll serve the sea bass fillets, the skin side always facing down. And now we'll sprinkle a little velouté sauce over the fillets. You can also serve the sauce in a saucepan and serve it with the fish. Now we'll decorate it a little, with lemon, a little rosemary and a little cherry tomato to add a little contrast and color to this dish of ours. You've seen that the preparation is not complicated. The advantage of this dish is that you can prepare both the side dish and the sauce in advance, and then when you come home tired from work, you don't have time to cook a lot and for a long time. Fry the fish fillets in 2 minutes, heat the side dish, heat the sauce, and you have lunch or dinner ready in just 5 to 10 minutes. This is a superb dish that can be served in any restaurant and everyone will be satisfied with its taste. Until the next video, enjoy the kitchen and create new easy recipes like this one today. Thank you for your attention. Bye.